Frankly, a game that established very high expectations. As far as turn-based combat, it's going to be very hard for anybody to ever beat the first Warhammer Quest, but outstandingly enough, Warhammer Quest to the End Times has done a great job of building on the base established in the first. The first came out in 2013, and Warhammer Quest to the End Times is a lot better looking. It also manages to have some of the more intuitive touch controls. The battle system is tactical and turn-based, though actually not much different than the first. There are some notable, if not minor, additions, and I have already sunk a pretty fair amount of time into it. Number 9 is Project High Rise, which you might say to yourself, is that like Tiny Tower? It's actually a lot more like Sim Tower, the much more complex granddaddy of what Tiny Tower is. You build and maintain a tower that is a full block of a city and includes all of the rooms, businesses, apartments, restaurants, offices, shops. And though visually speaking this game is probably not going to blow you away in any way, you will find yourself drawn into it if indeed you like tower sims. Number 8 is Vandals, a game that takes this sort of Hitman Go experience in a more artistic and slightly original direction. It's first and foremost a stealth game about infiltrating various areas within a city, and of course, vandalizing it. The nice thing about it is you're actually able to design your own tags. To call the graphics top-notch would be a massive understatement, though. This is a beautiful game, and it manages to do enough with the already established mechanics of the Go genre, I guess, and is a lot of fun. Number 7 is Battle Supremacy, which I would call pretty stiff competition for World of Tanks Blitz, for one reason, in that it looks pretty much that good and has a similar concept of an open world tank game, but also because it doesn't force you online. If you really want to play offline, you can, and that is something for a lot of people that is a big advantage. Now, this game has a lot of what I would call standard features, but it does them so well, it's really absolutely worth your time to check out. Like I said, I think it's pretty stiff competition for World of Tanks Blitz. Number 6 is The Room Old Sins, a continuation of the Room saga, the obviously premier game in the puzzle room genre that it basically single-handedly created. In every way, this could easily be the best The Room game. I think this one better strikes a balance between not insulting your intelligence and overloading your brain, and really takes the visuals to a new high. It's one of those games that you just don't want to end, you want it to keep going on forever, but even though it can't, you will enjoy your time with it if that's the type of game you like. Number 5 is The Pillars of Earth. That is very much a classic point-and-click style adventure game with some very sharp, nice, unique visuals, and a really detailed, very intense story. However, when I say intense, I don't mean edge of your seat, I mean there is a lot of story. Considering how very standard the genre it chooses is, this is a unique experience, and I think that fans of the genre will enjoy it. Also, just to mention the hand-painted graphics, they are gorgeous, and I found myself looking at that, just kind of admiring it. They're not the only reason to play the game, but really stand out for me. Number 4 is Get Her Back, which sort of switches up the traditional gun platformer and also giving you some pretty cool pixel art graphics with interesting physics on all of the explosions and really whatever you would call what happens when you attack anything. It's not as though it has a unique story or anything. You're a hero, your date Flora got kidnapped, and you try to save her. This is a game that I think probably falls into spiritual successor of the old Duke Nukem games, but I would say is a unique experience to this year especially. There's not really anything like this at the moment, and I think that provides a good case for playing it. Number 3 is Never Stop Sneakin', an absolutely absurd game that simplifies the stealth genre in a way that I probably wouldn't have ever expected to happen or would have thought would sound great if you simply described it to me, but as you can see, it is actually a pretty cool game. The premise is outright dumb, you time travel, and kidnap every president in US history. The game will give you some Metal Gear Solid vibes from time to time. I would say that is extremely intentional, but it's also a lot more course-based than any Metal Gear Solid game could imagine itself to be, and for that it actually really works out well. I would say it almost innovates in a lot of ways. Now that doesn't mean every single stealth game should be like this one in the future, but it tries some new things and they work. Number 2 is Returner 77, a sci-fi puzzle game with a mystery element to it that has just an incredibly good culmination of a storyline, and visually speaking, I don't think that you're gonna look at anything on the phone that looks this good in basically any other game. Essentially, you explore an alien spaceship and interact with an obstacle course laid out in front of you and try to find another survivor, and I can't say much else without spoiling it. A quick mention for this one is the soundtrack, which is great. Finally, number 1 is Oddmar, which is easily the prettiest platformer in years on mobile. Frankly, it seems like it should be something that's on the Switch as opposed to mobile, and reeks of everything that says premium. The game is Viking themed, though I wouldn't really say that that is the most important element of the game. It is just an incredibly well-made platformer with action elements. It's almost baffling that it's on mobile. It is way higher quality than basically anything else on mobile. This seems like something that should have been on, like, say, Switch or even the bigger consoles first, and then here in the mobile space later, but that's not a bad thing. That's actually a very good thing, especially if you like action platformers. This is the best one on mobile, period. If you like platformers and don't get this game, you make no sense. A quick bonus game for you, Judge, which is a top-down roguelike shooter that really reeks of Judge Dredd and is very much a successor to Neon Chrome that improves upon the formula in every way. Judge was only out on iOS, but it's out on Android as of this month, and you should play it. It's great. What iOS and Android games did you play this past month? Did you like the ones we mentioned? Leave us a comment, and if you like this video, click the like button. If you're not subscribed, now would be a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero, and we'll see you next time right here on Game Rings.